I have a very bad history of starting things, then never going back to them and not finishing it. Whatever it is, a painting, a book, a TV series, I will avoid reading the last chapter of the last season, etc. But I feel obligated to see through Hacks and Hijinks until the end. No matter how long it may take or how busy my schedule gets. Now, this series did begin as a way of documenting this huge event and what goes behind making this thing happen in the first place. It's definitely evolved a lot more to me, Fawaz, and Paul sharing our personal experiences during our time at IC Hack. Just wanted to say thank you for watching it this far. I know it's probably been a lot to take in anyways with the setup, but let's get on with episode 10. If you haven't figured out already, IC Hack, it's all about the food. So you get fed 4 meals throughout the entire hackathon, and you have snacks and various other little tidbits going around. So during lunch we had the popcorn stall set up, which had this like machine. It was this machine thingy on wheels, and you like think popcorn, and we're giving it to people in these like tiny cups. That was really cute. That worked much better than the bags of popcorn which we had the year before. We didn't end up finishing the popcorn the year before, so instead someone took it home. We've had lunch, it's all going well, everyone's hacking away, or they're going about doing their activities and stuff. We've got the games corner going on with all these console games so that people can take a break from coding. We have the table tennis table set up just so that people can play and stuff like that. And we've got the photo booth going on now. Woo! When we introduced it in IC Hack 19, it was such a huge hit. We had to have it again this year. And of course, going from the feedback from before, we wanted it for longer, and we wanted it to be a different photo style printing to what we had at IC Hack 19. So we had the photo booth people come in and set up right after lunch so that people could just go on and start taking pictures. And oh my gosh, I definitely know that I took at least 5 sets of photographs there, so that was something. But it is cute that you can get a printed photo to memorialize your time at IC Hack and have a picture with all your friends and your teammates. So the photo booth was going well. We still had a few sponsor workshops that was still going on. That was also molto bene. That was going really well. We had everyone roaming around the sponsors' desks, as well as like a lot of the sponsors who were attending. They were going around and helping other teams with their code and stuff. It was all going so smoothly. Ooh. So again, since it's been going smoothly, something was bound to go wrong, right? We have a few snack stalls set up. We had popcorn, and in the evening we actually had waffles and churros as the stand. Now, we couldn't have the stand set up indoors because of a fire safety hazard, so we needed it to be set up outdoors under the gazebo, which, if I recall correctly, collapsed during Freshers Fair. So we thought, oh, that wouldn't be a problem, let's just tether it down properly and it should be fine. But little did we know that a storm was on the way. I feel like one of us should have checked the weather and none of us did. So, fortunately the gazebo didn't fall down. But the main thing to go wrong during this snack stall was that it was getting dark. And I'm not sure if you know, but it is very difficult to tell when your waffles are done in the dark. But this is a repeated issue and definitely something to consider if we ever get any more outdoor stalls, which is to have floodlights so that they're not cooking in the dark. Apart from that fiasco, everything else was going splendidly. I mean, incredibly well. It was so well orchestrated, amazing, spectacular. So the next snack that we had after waffles and churros was bubble tea. Now in IC Hack 19, we did get a bubble tea stall for breakfast, but it wasn't what you'd call bubble tea. Paul will explain that in his video, but that wasn't real bubble tea, if I may say so. So anyways, this year we decided we needed to get authentic bubble tea, or as close as we can get. And we ended up opting for Biju, mainly because there is a Biju store that is close to campus, and they agreed to deliver over 400 bubble teas. We had a whole selection from lacto-free to full milk to almond milk to soy, I think. We just had a whole variety of different milk teas and fruit teas and different flavors of tea. It's just a lot of bubble tea. Now, the queue for the waffles and churros, I thought those were big because they always like stretch around and they have to go across on the side. But for bubble tea, the queue was so large. We had people queuing around the staircase at Sherfield. It was that large and I was like, damn, bubble tea really is popular. Fortunately, we did have enough bubble tea that everyone who was there at the time managed to get one. And you know, that was going pretty smoothly. Yeah, I honestly thought I wasn't going to be able to get a bubble tea because obviously volunteers get it later after the attendees. But fortunately, I did manage to get a lacto-free taro milk tea. Spectacular. That milk tea honestly made my entire Saturday worth it, even though it started off not so great. So we still have all the snacks on the tables and stuff. We have coffee point and everything all going on. Everyone's still hacking. And you know, 2 snack stalls later, it was almost time for dinner to come by. Now, since we're ordering food for around 500 to 600 people, one Nandos store usually doesn't cut it with how large our order is. So the way it works is that we split our order up along the 2 Nandos store that is closest to campus, where one supplies the chicken and the other supplies everything else, from the sides to the vegetarian dishes to the vegan dishes. Everything else is from that store and the chicken is from one other store. Because there's 2 separate stores, we get multiple deliveries from them because they don't have enough space in their minivan to fit all of the food that we've ordered. I wish I was making this up, but usually we end up getting 5 or 6 deliveries from Nandos because they can't fit everything into their van. Now, obviously, if you're ordering a lot of sides, sometimes they will literally just give it to you in a tray and you have to serve it to people. Now, this is where experience comes into play because Viet realized from 2019 we didn't have any serving spoons, so he ordered some for this year. However, turned out we didn't have enough serving spoons. So what happened was me and Rachel ended up having to go into one of the kitchens and grab all the serving spoons that they can, wash them, get it clean, get all our gloves on, and start portioning the food to go up into each of the rooms depending on how many people are in those rooms. That also included portioning this huge cardboard box full of mash into 3 separate containers. Oh my, that was something, that really was. So yeah, once Nandos is all portioned out and moved to all of the rooms, now this is a food that the volunteers are going to be serving to people. So we want to make sure that we have the best hygiene possible. So, you know, everyone is wearing gloves and only the volunteers who are wearing gloves are touching the food when it comes to serving people. The volunteers are also keeping track of what people want on their plate so that people don't take too many sides or too little sides, so we have extra. Making sure that the tokens were collected so that we know that the people who are lining up for dinner actually was there for dinner. And one touch that I really liked was that we had a few volunteers around as well with hand sanitizers, just so people could sanitize their hands before grabbing their food. Nandos was perfectly portioned this year. It was very little wasted food when it came to Nandos. It's gorgeous. And of course, after the attendees have all eaten, then the volunteers go eat, and of course volunteers get dibs on all the food that is left over. If there's anything spare, then sometimes we make a call to the attendees that if they want any extra food, they can just come and grab it. So then afterwards, we had to wash all the utensils and get all the Nandos equipment cleaned up so that they could come and pick it up the next day. And that led us straight on to bar night, which Fawaz will talk about. So yeah, 10 wasn't super dramatic. Everything was going very smoothly. I think this is where episode 9 probably comes into most play, because at the beginning of the hackathon is when things are most likely to go wrong. But then once you've found the rhythm, once you've found what works, Control C, Control V. As you may have seen, episode 11 is already up and you can view that right now. But episode 11 was fantastically made by Fawaz, and episode 12 is going to be by our ever favorite veteran, Paul, who is going to also be recounting some of his previous experiences at Icy Hack alongside Taran. Then I'll see you again for the final few episodes to wrap up Hacks and Hijinks. Thank you again for watching up until now, and we'll all see you in the next one.